I'd like to address pastors and talk about the tough spot that they're in. Pastors get hit on with a lot of great ideas for a lot of worthwhile causes, and there's a lot of things that they could be doing. And so they need to prioritize their time. And I was on the board of directors of a church for about 10 years, and we had about 300 people that were coming. And I'll be honest, marriage ministry was not one of our top objectives. Let me explain a couple reasons why. One, some pastors, I will say, are really gifted at counseling, and that's what they feel their calling are. But there are a lot of pastors that feel more gifted to do things like preaching and teaching, and so they feel that's where they're most effective. And when it comes into counseling, they're just not very comfortable or very good at it. So they do have empathy and they try, but it's probably not their strong suit. And then the bigger challenge is probably that couples just don't ask for a lot of help. Folks on the Family and Lifeway did some research, and they said that for every 41 people in your church, one couple will ask for help in a given year. So that means in our church of 300, you get 6 or 7 couples that would say, hey, we're struggling, what can we do? And I know the pastor is always very compassionate with them, but when it came to the board, we'd say, what resources do we want to put where? All right, on one hand, maybe you're not comfortable doing this. 2, there's only 6 or 7 couples versus we've got 300 that are showing up of adults and children that need other ministries on a Sunday morning. I mean, it wasn't a very difficult decision. And yet, I remember one time I knew a leadership couple that suddenly announced they were getting divorced, and it took me by surprise. And it's like, well, what happened there? And you felt bad for them, and your heart kind of broke, and you felt bad for their kids, and you said, well, could we have been doing more? Then it also has impact on the church. So invariably, one or both of them will leave. They stop giving. Relationships get fractured. If they're in leadership, it can maybe harm the reputation of the church. And at a board, those are the kind of things that we thought about. And yet, from a person to person, you feel for them. And so let me just give you 3 kind of ideas. One, pastor, a leader, find a couple that you trust that you can ask to get involved with this. Honestly, that's how my wife and I got involved. Trusted couple, we started to get involved, didn't know what we were doing, and we learned our way around it. But 2, find some curriculum material that they can use and they can follow. Whatever that is, that they can follow and be effective and they can learn, so they're not just starting from scratch. And then 3, start small. You have couples right now that are struggling. I bet 1 or 2 come to your mind. You could refer them to this couple. It doesn't take a big rollout. Doesn't take a sermon series. It's not a big program. Doesn't even take a small group. Now, all of those things are great things, but start with the couples that you know are struggling. And as your mentor couples get some experience, you can look at how do you expand it and how do you reach more people. So again, 3 things. Find a trusted couple, find them some curriculum, and start small. But start to do something.